Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Jerusalema, ikhaya lami, ilondoloze, uhambe nami, zungangishilana. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze, zuhambe nami. Dawo yami ayikholana, buso wami awukholana. Ilondoloze,
and a very, very good evening to you. I'm Kino Cummings. I am a retired, or what do they call it? Recovering talk show host, and it's an absolute pleasure just being in your company this evening. You're part of the family, and this is really what it's all about. Welcome to our UCT online high school information session. And joining me, the amazing Director of Student Experience, Storm Clary. Great to have you here, and looking forward to the chat. And yeah, so lots of people, as you know, it's been quite a popular, UCT Online High School has been very popular. A lot of people have been wanting to know about it. We've had over 1,000 people registered for the information session, which means that we won't be able to do live Q&As, right? So that ain't going to happen. But what I can ask you to do, you'll see a tab there, says Q&A. Put your questions in there. We've got phenomenal admissions counselors. They'll get back to you and they'll answer each and every one of those questions. So there'll also be a variety of information sessions. Very helpful. I know what it's like as a parent with a child at school. You want to know what's going to happen next. Every second week, we'll be having those information sessions with a variety of topics as well. And tonight, we're going to try and finish in about 45 minutes. I know you either got to dinner early or you're trying to get to dinner late, so I'm not here to upset you. And I'd like to officially welcome you to UCT Online High School. Part of the family, more details. You've seen the generic stuff that we've done about it, but what exactly is student experience? Those type of questions. Now, I like my polls, by the way, Storm. So we're gonna go into the first poll, and it is as follows. You'll see it up on your screen. How often do you want these information sessions to take place? So either once a month, twice a month, or every second week. That I'd love to see you just actively participate in. And as soon as I get those results, I'll be sharing that with you. But let's talk about the student experience department. Now, a lot of these terms and phrases are new to a lot of us, right? For me, student experience, when I was at school, Storm, I think I mentioned this to you earlier, my student experience was getting cuts in the principal's office. I apparently have improved since, right? So just tell us a little bit about the position that you fill within UCT Online High School.
Sure thing. And yeah, Kino, the student experience at UCT Online High School definitely won't be the same as that. But yeah, hi to everyone. I'm Storm and I'm the Director of Student Experience. And basically everything I do is centered around the learner. And of course, with the learner is also the extension to the guardian. So anything around the learner, the guardians, and their family. And I'm responsible for leading and managing the student experience division, which includes our mentorship and support coaching function, our teaching and learning, student and parent engagement, as well as our pastoral care and counseling. So that's sort of what I do in a nutshell.
So we'll get into those departments. I think that'd be interesting just to get you to unpack that a little more, but we'll go back to the poll very quickly. How often do you want these information sessions to take place? There we go. Quite decisively, a lot of people are saying once a month, 42%, twice a month, 22%, 36% every second week. So this is going to be a bun fight, but we'll reach a decision. I can tell you that much. So just let's talk a little bit about, so you speak about the student experience department, you've outlined, student well-being, etc. But let's unpack that a little further. Let's talk a little bit more about the departments that fall under you, Storm.
Sure thing. So the students experience team is formed up of 3 key teams or 3 smaller departments. We have our academic team, we then have our success team, and then we have the student well-being team. And the focus of these 3 teams is really around the holistic child and how we can support the whole child.
Okay, so you're just digging a little more into those departments. You've got the academic team. So anything which is curriculum related, I would imagine, that is the teacher that will do the one-on-one, etc., right?
Yes. So the academic team is probably as close as you get to sort of brick and mortar. It is all your teachers. So at UCT Online High School, it is our senior teachers and our teachers who provide all the academic support, teaching and learning. So if your learner is struggling with a concept in English, it is someone from our academic team, so the English senior teacher or teacher who will support them.
Okay, and then you have your student success team, which comprises, I believe, of your support coaches. A little bit more about that.
Yes, absolutely. So I think this is the space where we are quite unique. I don't believe support coaches exist in other brick and mortar schools. And really our support coaches are there for the holistic well-being of the child. So they look at the socio-emotional side of the learner and look at their overall progress. So whereas faculty and our academic team is focused on like a particular subject and curriculum, the support coach and our student success team look at the entire child and how we can support them in the best way possible.
Now, it's not, so you've got an academic team, you've got a student success team, and then you've got a student well-being team. Now, having a student well-being team doesn't mean that the academic team and the student success team isn't worried about the well-being. It's all holistic. But yes, let's unpack that student well-being team a little bit. I mean, you've got 3 focus areas there. Let's run through that.
Yes, so I seem to like a lot of 3 departments, 3 smaller teams within the student well-being team. But our student well-being team, the first part of it is our academic support team and counselors. So this is the team that really provides the more like therapeutic counseling and academic support. So if your child has a barrier to learning and needs accommodations or needs to be provided support through that, this comes from our support team. So that's the first piece of it. Then the second part is around careers and career services. And naturally, this is a really important piece of UCT Online High School because of our relationship with UCT. We really want to set our learners up for success after school. And so in the career services, it will start off with subject selection because, you need to choose the right subjects to set you up for success later on. And then also there'll be fireside chats with you and UCT staff members and also business leaders to get the learners exposed to the different jobs and the world of work that exists outside. And then of course, later on in their schooling, they will be around like applications and how do you get into university and the complications with all the point systems and supporting with that. So exciting piece of the student well-being team.
And that is why I'm so impressed with this relationship. Even before I was asked to come on board, right? I looked at this model and I thought, the wonderful thing with about creating a relationship with university, they understand the rigor needed in order to succeed, and therefore working very closely with your teams that you've just mentioned, you can prepare learners to get into the university rigorous framework that exists. But the other thing people have also asked about is extracurricular activities. Now, there is an extracurricular manager. Tell us a bit about that role and a little bit more about the extracurricular side of things.
Yes, so extracurriculars are an important piece and lots of questions coming through around what that looks like at an online high school. And so our extracurricular manager is really responsible for sort of sparking, encouraging, and facilitating interests in our learners. And so whether you're interested in music and art and drama and sport, you know, the extracurricular manager is coming together to pull these things together for you and provide a space and a platform where learners can connect over shared interests. So I'm interested in cricket. So where can I go and do cricket where I live? Because I might be in Cape Town, I might be in Durban, wherever, and providing them a space to be able to find those outside activities. But this person will also oversee our virtual clubs, which is a key offering at UCT Online High School.
I wonder if you know, people like head of culture can also take part in the online gaming. I'd love to do that.
Yes, you can.
Every excuse.
Yes, absolutely. You can host the virtual club. We'll bring you.
I will do that. I don't mind at all. That sounds like lots of fun to me. Now, just on extracurricular, you have the other side of the storm where my teenager might be busy with, in my case, it was skateboarding or doing other things, and they are quite busy. But some of them are even on their way to some professional level and they need to put all the effort in. So are any of these extracurricular activities compulsory?
No, so definitely not. And I remember at school as well, you had to play a sport, and I was in hockey and I think I was in the E team. So I definitely wasn't sort of inclined in the sports field, but that's something you had to do. So no, extracurriculars are not compulsory. We do encourage that our learners engage in extracurriculars and join the virtual clubs to make friends, to get outdoors, you know, get active, but it's not a compulsory component of UCT Online High School.
Yeah, and it's essential, especially isolation is not a good thing. If you're sitting behind a computer, you're doing your work. You know, I mentioned this last night and I'm happy to talk about it because I think people should be talking about this. I've got a teenager who still suffers with depression. And the only way you can treat that is to, you know, part of it is to actually get them active with other people. So very essential. But that is why we're giving you the whole picture, right? But now we've got the lead up to the big event, which is the first day of school and all the rest of it. So what will the department be busy with in the lead up to the big day, as it were?
Yeah, so it's a big countdown. And I think, you know, the student experience department to some degree is the school once it goes live. You know, all the teachers, all the support coaches, all the extra support staff, that all sits within student experience. Yeah. So it's a big lead up. And I think, you know, there are lots of different things we're working on at the moment, but the first thing I can touch on is hiring. So we want to make sure we hire the absolutely best, most caring, nurturing individuals to support learners and for everyone on the call, all your children. That's really important to us. And we want to spend the time in choosing the right people who will really care and mentor our learners. So hiring is a big piece at the moment that I'm spending a lot of my time on.
A lot of people would be watching this. We might have, you know, teachers, we might have people with psychology degrees and experience, people who've worked in community service going, I want to be part of that solution. Where do they actually find out more about this?
Yes, we would absolutely love for anyone here. Share with your friends, apply yourselves if you are in, as Kino has mentioned, in those areas. So you can go to the Valencia Institute website, and if you scroll down, there's a careers page, and you can say apply now, and it takes you to all of our openings. So yeah, please go visit it, share it widely, so we get great people into our space.
Now, you know, there's also the pre-orientation and onboarding of our learners, right? And also the guardians, which is a very important thing, because it's not just about the learners. We work as family units. As they say, you know, if you raise a kid, in order to raise a kid effectively, you need a village to do that. And I think that's what we're creating here. So tell us a little bit, you know, about the pre-orientation, the onboarding for the learners and the guardians, and also this Learning Compass program.
Yes. So Preorientation is coming up soon, and I'm hopefully going to touch on that a bit later because we want to get into the meat of what that looks like, because I know it's a key question, but we are busy preparing for that. So, you know, what is the best way to welcome everyone into the UCT Online High School family? So yeah, that's a key piece, is prepping how we do our orientation and making sure we have everything set up for November for all of our learners. And then
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. No, and then on the Learning Compass side, we're going to get into that as well, because it's also, I know it's come up in the other webinars. I want to explain a bit more on what that is.
Okay, but the one thing I am going to push you for,
Yes.
I don't know, and I don't like not knowing. The principal, of course, forms part of your team. Does the principal form part of your team?
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
who is the principal?
I know it's the question on everyone's mind. We do have a principal, and we will be announcing who she is very soon. I know everyone is really interested, and we can't wait to share who the principal is. And they, of course, form part of the student experience division because, you know, naturally they're responsible for the care and the nurturing and the success of the school. So they will form part of student experience.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now,
A little bit longer.
I'm gonna get it out, right? It's me. It's for years, for almost 3 decades, I've been trying to get things out of people, and I seem to be struggling at the moment. But anyway, it's poll time. Here's another poll, interactive once again. Be part of it. Would you like to continue receiving regular infographics? I love those infographics, by the way, but then again, I'm biased, right? Yes or no? It's very simple. Be part of it. Let's see. We'll get the answers. But also waiting for school to start. I mean, that's essential. As Rob always says, Rob Paddock, of course, who's the CEO of the Valencia Institute, he says, you know, you get the eager beans who want to get going right away, and you get those who will wait until January. But let's talk about waiting for school to start. As someone who has applied, who is, you know, waiting until the start of classes 2022, what can I expect?
Yes.
What is done, from now onwards?
Sure. So I can share that. So for anyone who has already applied, and firstly, I want to say so excited, and I'm sure there's many of you on this call, and I want to officially welcome you to UCT Online High School. And I think many of you probably would have received a personalized welcome email from me already. But for anyone who has signed up and has paid their placement fee and is ready to join us, they will have pre-orientation in November. So everyone who joins between now and November will be part of the pre-orientation journey. And then from that, orientation will kick off in January. And for most learners, that'll be the 10th of January, but I've seen a few have selected the 17th. So I think maybe they want a little bit of a longer school holiday, but majority are, so it's orientation 10th of January, and then day 1 of school where your modules are unlocked and learning begins will be the 17th. So that's sort of the 3 stages.
The 3 divisions. Okay. So we didn't mention that we're going to go into pre-orientation in more detail. We'll do that next. But first, those results. This looks like an A+++, because 100% of people tonight have said, and thank you for it, by the way, that they would love to continue receiving the regular infographics. So
amazing.
Your wish is our command, right? So pre-orientation. What happens during pre-orientation?
Yes, absolutely. So our application portal, as we know, and the application process takes around like 6 minutes, I think, and 30 seconds or something like that, and which is really great. But now in pre-orientation, we need to get some more documentation and information from our learners and their families. So the first thing is our guardians will receive login details to a portal, which is their online sort of guardian community. And we will ask them to upload documentation, so reports and any other important information relating to the child, because that's really important for us to have for our records. And then the second piece is around subject selection. So this is particularly important for our grade 10 and 11 learners, because again, subject selection is such a key part of your future career. So we will have subject selection webinars beforehand, because we want to guide our learners and not just throw them in the deep end of choose your subjects, because, you know, once you've chosen them, we want you, and you need to keep them for the remainder of your school career. So that's subject selection. And then the third piece, which I think, you know, may cause some anxiety or unknowns, is around our benchmark test. And so learners are required to do 2 benchmark tests, 1 literacy and 1 numeracy test. And these tests, they will be online, and they will be 3 hours each. So I think a key thing for those on this call is to, bake out some time in November for when your learner can sit down for 6 hours. Wouldn't recommend doing them together, but 1 3-hour stint, 1 3-hour stint to be able to do those benchmark tests.
Now, I think one of the questions that I, as a parent, immediately would sort of hop to this, but what if my child, what if the learner doesn't do well in a benchmark test, right? Will that placement be revoked? That's sort of nightmare stuff. Now what? Let's deal with that one.
Yes, I can imagine. And the answer to that one is no. So the benchmark test isn't like an assessment or entrance assessment that you would have at a brick and mortar school. The reason we have our benchmark tests is to determine whether a learner requires literacy or numeracy remediation. So,
right.
I think with UCT Online High School and our mastery-based approach, what is really beautiful is it is around building a strong foundation and then building upon that. And we know that we're going to have some learners joining who may have some, cracks in their foundation and need some remediation or to be able to fill those gaps. So by us testing and getting that information, we can then support them with a remediation program alongside them doing their work at UCT Online High School. So it definitely doesn't affect their placement. It's more to support them and ensure that they are set up for success into their future sort of schoolwork.
Absolutely. And I mentioned a data-driven system earlier, and the importance of a data-driven system, Storm, really is to free up the resources. Because I know my wife's a teacher. You have to end up designing, you have to end up going to meetings, and then, oh, by the way, you've got to teach, and then you've got to find some time in the day to also do one-on-one. Data-driven frees up, and also the way we put this curriculum together, built from the ground up, it frees up all of these resources to do one-on-one, which to me was rather exciting. But now, support coaches.
Yes.
What in the world is a support coach?
So that's a great question. And I mean, you can look at the words. So they are coaches who support, I guess we could put it that way, but really they are individuals who are deeply committed to helping our students succeed. And how I really like to describe it is that they are the learner's champion. They are their number one fan. So, I think they have quite a fortunate role that they're not the parent or the guardian, and they're not the teacher. So, they're not chasing after kids and getting upset if they're getting a C- for maths or whatever the case may be. But they are there to be like their confidant and their motivator, and just be that person who walks the journey with the learner, and that one person at school that they can go to. And, I think if I look at my experience at school, you had a teacher or you had the school counselor, but it would be like terrifying to go into the middle of the school to knock at the school counselor's door, whereas now you have your mentor who is just that go-to person.
Well, exactly. I mean, people think when you knock on the counselor's door, oh, what's wrong with Storm? What's wrong with Kino? This takes all of that out of the way. And then, finally, the Learning Compass program. Can you share a little bit more about that, Storm?
Yes, I can. So one of the key things that our support coaches focus on is the Learning Compass program. And the Learning Compass program happens once a week. So there are live virtual lessons with about 10 to 15 students in each Learning Compass session. And the Learning Compass program is our socio-emotional learning program. And the focus of it is to really support our learners' academic journey while we navigate through social, emotional, and academic topics. And I think what's really important about it, or the key focus of it, is to help develop the skills that will enable self-directed learning, which you have to have at UCT Online High School. You need to be able to self-direct, manage your time, be accountable, and that's one of the key things that this program teaches our learners. But more so than that, it also helps them to feel more purposeful and a sense of belonging. So, being a parent yourself, I'm sure, and others, there is a worry of online. How do my kids connect? How do they feel like they're part of a community, that they belong? And this the socio-emotional program is helping that and helping to create that. Mm-hmm. But to go slightly deeper, just because I guess these are what the information sessions are for.
Yes, absolutely.
And to chat a little bit on the key topics that we cover. So the first one is around online learning. How do you learn online? You know, we don't expect that everyone joining us has learned online before. So we want to tap into that. How do you set yourself up for success? Then relationship skills. We also go into self-awareness and social awareness, into self-management again. How do I self-direct and figure out how to do things by myself? And then we also tap into decision making, and lastly, and very importantly, into career guidance, which is more catered towards our grade 11 and matric learners.
Now, I know we are mindful of time, and we did promise that we're not going to keep you here and get your dinner cold. Of course, it is important for us to do the sort of deep dive into these things. But the difference between the support coach and the teacher, once again. So just a brief overview.
Yes, sure. So I think it's probably easiest if I give an example. So let's take English. So a student is studying English, then the teacher will be looking at all the English learners and be like, okay, this student's doing well, this one's falling behind, this one's great, this aren't so great. So they will, you know, ask to set up a one-on-one session or group session with that learner. So academic around English. Then with that same scenario, we look at the support coach, and what they will be doing is looking at all of their learners across all of their subjects. So, okay, Storm is doing really well in science and maths, but is doing, on average on English, is falling behind quite a lot in Afrikaans. So let me start a conversation with Storm. Let me send her an email, send her a chat, pick up the phone and say, Storm, what's going on? I see Afrikaans is, you know, you're falling behind. And I think what's great about the support coach role, and where sort of the nurturing and empathy and care comes in, is that we are data driven, but the data doesn't tell the story. The data just points us in the right direction. And then our support coaches will have a conversation. So Storm, what's going on? You know, is it transitioning to the online schooling that's hard? What's going on at home? Is it the teacher? You know, why are you falling behind, or what's happening? So I think that hopefully paints a good picture of the two different roles.
It also makes one feel good as a parent, though, because sometimes we're busy, right? We're busy and we're working from 9 until 5, and we sometimes don't have the time. As much as we tell ourselves that we should. And we've got someone who actually can fit in there, who can ask the right questions. And those teachers then work together with the support coaches on your child holistically. Now, how much contact time will my child have with the support coach?
Yes, that is the $1 million question, and one that we've been getting a lot of. And, you know, I think we don't have a one size fits all. So I'm not going to say, oh, every child, every learner is getting 5 hours or 20 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever it may be, because the beauty of our approach is that we want to give the time that each learner needs. So, you know, some learners may have a lot of time with their support coach because that's what they really require, with others maybe quite self-sufficient, self-directed, don't need that extra time, don't, you know, feel they need to connect as much with the support coach. So it will vary per the child's needs, but the one guarantee is that at a minimum, everyone will have an hour's contact time.
Absolutely. Now we do
sessions and learning conversations.
Okay, so we just had a bit of a break up of the line there, but that's cool. That's what happens. By the way, pardon the pun, it's storming in Cape Town at the moment. Very cold. Now, speaking of storm, what if I'm concerned about my child? What if I'm concerned about my child and I want to be proactive as a guardian or a parent? Can I reach out to the support coach?
Yes, you can. So the support coach is not just there for the learner, they're also very much there for the guardian. And there'll be many times when the support coach will reach out to the guardian saying, you know, can we connect? I'm worried about this, or I'm really excited that your child did so well on this, or is exceeding pace and is doing amazingly well. Because, you know, as much as the school is responsible for the child's education, it is, as you say, it's a village to raise a child, but it's also a village to educate a child. So we need the family to be involved. We want our guardians to be connected with the school and know what's going on and know the support coach and teachers very well.
So if I understand you correctly, part of that feedback loop will be the support coaches providing that feedback to the parents as well.
Yes. And then I think the one other thing for parents who are also very busy and may not always have times for calls and Google Hangout meetings and whatever the case may be, we also do have a Guardian platform where, you could log in and see how your child is progressing without having to talk to me. So if I'm the support coach, you have the option to chat to me and look online and see how your child is doing. So we try and, give you both views.
Absolutely. Now, and I really wish that this was around when my kids were a lot younger. But I think, being at the point where I still have a 4-year-old though, so there's hope the school's going to be around for a long time. But we also hear that the school is not just a high school. Rob talks about this, right? He says that it's an ecosystem. And I initially, when I heard that, I'm going like, what in the world is that? What is this ecosystem thing? The difference, between paid online, between paid for and the free curriculum, for example, is something that a lot of people ask about.
Yes. So I can maybe chat, I'm sure Rob's gone into detail about the vision for both, but I can chat from like a support perspective, like do you get support coaches with the curriculum? So the main difference is the support that you get. So on the free curriculum, there are no support coaches, teachers, or support staff. So you get access to the high quality content and curriculum that we put together, but you aren't afforded the support coaches and the teachers and the support staff. So you don't get all that extra holistic support that you do when you join UCT Online High School.
Absolutely. And time for the poll, shall we? Which of the following topics would you like to have covered? I'm going to move that aside because there's something that popped up on my screen over the question. How things work with online, right? I'll do it again. Which one of the following topics would you like to have covered during our information sessions? There's mastery-based education, cyberbullying and online child protection. And by the way, we've got zero tolerance when it comes to cyberbullying. The extracurricular activities and the virtual clubs, virtual classrooms and the teacher role, the role of the parent at the online school itself, the UCT Online High School, and then examinations and assessments. Get clicking and we'll certainly look at those results. And, at the end of the day, if you want to find out more, then if you've got any additional questions, you've posted questions in the Q&A, then our admissions counselors and our student success team will get hold of you. And I think we pride ourselves on actually getting back to people, don't we?
Yes, we definitely do. That's one of the key things of the student experience and guardian experience is that you hear back from us. So absolutely.
Well, there we go. And that, I think, ends tonight. We're going to get to that poll very quickly. I did promise that we're going to do the poll. If we have the results up there, because we're going to be wrapping up pretty soon.
I'm excited.
There we go. Thank you very much for it. There we go. Mastery-based education. So coming up first, ladies and gentlemen, we have examinations and assessments, followed in close second by virtual classroom and teacher role, and then the extracurricular activities coming in at number 3, and you can see the rest. So this is what we do. We respond to your requests. This is not us sitting in a boardroom going, what are we going to tell these parents to do next? We take our lead from you. Storm, I'm really looking forward to working with you and your team. I'm looking forward to those fireside chats as well. And I think the big thing about the school, other than the rigor and getting the academics right, man, we're going to have fun. And I think that's important.
Yes, we're definitely going to have fun. And yeah, just welcome. And I can't wait to welcome everyone in November. Yeah, it was lovely being here. So thanks, Kino.
And what a pleasure. And thanks to all of you for braving cold dinner and tuning in, all 656 of you. I didn't want to make you nervous, Storm, but now I can tell you how many people. Anyway, have a good one. There'll be more of these and we'll be having fun and we'll be getting more deep dive information. Have a fabulous evening.